he got beat up when Microsoft was accused of being a monopoly, going through that whole.
I mean, it was a monopoly, but he kind of earned it.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, it's funny you mentioned monopoly, and one of the things that I love about Thiel in his commentary on businesses in 0 to 1 is that the goal of every business is to become a monopoly. The wealth is only built through having moats and gates and monopolistic practices.
Yes, I think people misread Peter as saying monopolies are good no matter what. And I think what he's saying is that, these organic, naturally forming, market-based monopolies are, that's the goal of every great entrepreneur, but it's also the motivation that keeps the company going is they need to make those profits. Whereas what he wasn't saying was we need state enforced monopolies.
Right.
We need to protect people with laws or regulations in order to, prevent erect all these barriers to entry to prevent competition. That's not what Peter was saying.
If you have a state enforced monopoly, it's utilizing the state's monopoly of violence in order to create a monopoly of business practices. And as far as I'm aware, Bill Gates did not use violence to make Microsoft Windows the most dominant operating system in the world.
And I think it was I forget when the case ended, but certainly within 2 or 3 years from that point, they had new competitors like Google in the mix.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I thinking back, and I don't remember it in detail, it's like the kind of monopolistic practices that are now permitted, the bundling of software seem almost like quaint for what Apple is able to do, for example.
Yes.
Like Apple, you're just not allowed. We're going to take 30% of every single
compared to the iPhone. God, take 30%. You need approval from us. It's so dictatorial.
Yeah, it's not even the cartel. I mean, because I always just think it's like, government or big business or what have you. It's all just cartel sort of stuff. Yeah. You've got your team. You create these boundaries. You try to enforce your power and your rules, and you negotiate that sort of among the other great powers or so to see who comes out on top. Yeah, and actually, I forgot to mention that my wife was actually who said I need to interview you and draw your attention to my book, because she wrote, and I'll link to this in the